What is up, YouTubers, lovers of budget cars and bikes? Welcome back to another product review. Today we are going to take a look at the Kingbolen K7 that's just been sent out, which is part of the Think Car group, I do believe. We'll go into that in a second because all their branding seems to be very, very similar. But as I said, we'll go into that in a second. It's just literally turned up, so we're going to unbox this, get it out, have a little look at it. We'll go through all the usual tests that we do with all our diagnostic tools, and then we will go out to the car and I will plug it into our brand new car, which is quite a special little motor, and we will do a quick health check on that because I haven't done so yet and it only arrived yesterday. So yeah, let's get into this. So there it is in its packaging. As you can see, it's a K7 Smart Scan tool, as they've decided to call it on this occasion. Obviously an Android-based device, as you can see there. Not very much going on the front of the box. Let's see if we can just spin this round. Not very much happening here. What have we got on the back then? Just some general information about what it does, some cautions, a barcode, all that kind of good stuff. Right, we will get this out of its second box. So we're doing a double unboxing, as it would seem today. Let's get this out of its second box and have a look at what they've sent us. So straight away you'll see what I meant by the fact that I think it's kind of a conjunction with Think Car, which we've done some scanners for them as well, including the Think Diag 2 and a couple of others. I'll stick them in up here in this top right hand corner throughout this video, the scanners we've already kind of reviewed on the channel. But this is actually branded by Kingbolen, which I think is the mother company, as it were, who send out some other kind of unbranded stuff. And this is the K7. As usual with this company, you get a really, really robust case as well. I do love the way they send these in really nice cases. If you remember the review we did, I think it was on the Top Dom 600 or something. Again, I'll stick the link in up here. Great scanner, don't get me wrong. Brilliant scanner from Top Dom, but it came with no kind of box, no protection, which was a real letdown for me. I mean, at this price point, you do want to know that you can put this back in its protective box, keep it safe, you know, that kind of stuff, because it's got a fragile screen, as all these things would do. I mean, you wouldn't necessarily expect to have a mobile phone that's 400 or 500 quid and not have a decent protection for it. Anyway, I digress. Let's get this open because there's not really very much going on here, as you can see, and I'm making a right old mess of here because I've just cleaned the kitchen counter. Anyway, we'll get this open and see what we get inside. So, usual stuff, we will have a look at the, well, we won't really have a look at the user manual because it will be, as always, incredibly concise with all sorts of different languages, a setup guide, all that kind of good stuff. There is no point in me going through that with you now because obviously you can go through that yourselves when you get yours. Now, this is obviously the activation code and the serial number. I'm not going to show you that because that's just for this Kingbolen K7 here. And there it is, brand new. And let's pop that down there, see what we get in the box. There's the Bluetooth module. Very similar to the Think Max, I think it was called, in the fact that it's a standalone Bluetooth kind of dongle that you'll stick into your car, and then basically you can use this in your hand. You can use it outside of the car as well. I love that kind of setup. Always very good. We have a Euro plug here and an American plug here, and because we're in the UK, we will have a UK plug, of course. What else have we got? Some of these kind of anti-damp bags. We always get those. I'm not sure they're any good and what kind of purpose they serve. There is your USB charging cable as well. Looks like a Type-C at the end of there. Yep, for data transfers, that kind of stuff, and obviously for charging. That's pretty much it. That's all you get. Doesn't seem to be very much else going on in here, and that's where it fits in there, which I have noticed straight away a slight negative. And it's not a negative, it's an observation which I don't quite understand. If we look at that on that angle there, it doesn't sit in the box very well, does it? I hope you'll agree. I'm not quite sure why. It's almost like it's in the wrong box, because this is the handle part here that you will hold onto, or grip onto. There's your power button, of course, and that's how you hold onto it. But the recess here doesn't seem to be deep enough to take that handle, which is very odd. I'm not quite sure why they've done that. I think a better design here would have been much better. Talking of design, look how robust this thing is here. This is for working outdoors or in garages. This is a far more premium and professional scanner, shall we say, than your little home diagnostic tools. This is going to be able to do pretty much everything you will ever ask it to do. And they've designed it to be robust in a garage environment, out on the road, that kind of stuff. Really nice grippy feel. As I said, very robust. Bit of info on the back, not very much, but it does have a camera. I don't think we've had a camera on any of the diagnostic tools we've reviewed in the past. This is the first one with a camera. I don't know about the quality of the camera. We'll maybe try to get into that in a minute. But it can do things like, I guess it could take a picture of your engine bay for some reason. Not quite sure what the benefit of having a camera on the back is, if I'm honest. I guess maybe if you've got a comment on that, chime in. There is the power button. We have a little door here as well, as per usual. Yeah, USB and Type-C, so that's where you charge it, data transfers. I cannot see anywhere to put an SD card, so there's no expandable memory in here, which is a bit odd as well. Let's get this powered up, see what comes up on the screen. There we go, Kingbolen. That was quick. That was a really nice little quick startup there. We'll see now how quickly it actually gets into the menus and stuff, because these things can take a time. I mean, obviously, the higher you go price-wise, the quicker the processor should be, and the quicker the startup should be. But we've been in here, well, there we go, it's getting there. We're in about, what, 15 seconds now? I would expect to see this sub 30 seconds really at this price point, but we will see. And it's, oh, there we are. We've got the clock and the Wi-Fi and all that kind of good stuff. So we're pretty much done in 30 seconds, which, as I said, I would expect at this price point. There we go. We need to set it up, get the languages, get the activation codes, all that kind of good stuff, and then we will continue to see exactly what we got inside here. So stand by. So there it is, guys. That is the Android user face for the Kingbolen K7. They've given you a nice big banner up here just in case you forget what you've spent all your money on. That is essentially the user interface there for the scanner. As you would expect, you get all your usual menus there. There's your big fat OBD section over there. You would just press that to get into the generic codes, as it were. If you were just having a little problem and you wanted just to get in there and have a little quick scan, as it were. There is your more in-depth scan. We'll have a look at that in a second. There is your reset menu there as well. That is going to enable you to get in there and basically turn off your service light for your oil changes and that kind of stuff, and we'll go into that again in a second as well. There's the store, obviously, if you want to extend your subscription, but as I said, you get a 3-year free updates and 3 years free bi-directional subscription as well, which does make this incredible value if you consider the cost of a subscription to generally a bi-directional service. And here we have got the repair info, the updates. That's where you'll get all your updates. There'll be thousands, I'm sure there always is. This is the module section over here, which effectively means you can connect your bore scopes, your video cameras, that kind of stuff for getting inside the engine and kind of taking pictures there or videos if you think you have problems there. A little bit beyond my remit there, if I'm honest. There's your files. Obviously, that's where you'll store all your files from your repair info, etc., etc. And the settings menu, as you would expect, you get into there and it's pretty self-explanatory, although there are a lot of settings, which far more than I've seen in the past. One of the main ones is the fact that you can actually spin this around. You couldn't do that on the ThinkMax 2, I think it was, and on the launch, which, when you bear in mind the orientation of this, you basically would hold it left-handed. And I remember saying then at the time that I thought that was a bit pants for people that are left-handed, as it were, and need to use it the other orientation. There was no way to actually switch the screen, but I do believe, if you bear with me, I'm going to try to see it here now. Actually, no, it's not in there. Let's get out of here for a second. I remember it's on the pull down menu. It's just there. There you go. As you can see, the orientation has changed. Now we've got to do it this way around and take it off. But that is your pull-down menu, as you would expect to see on a mobile device there. Quick settings, basically, for the camera, screen rotation, screenshots, that looks like, video camera, Bluetooth, and Wi-Fi. Let's get rid of that. Let's have a little look at the reset menu over here. And as you would expect to see, we've got an air fuel, the brake, the ABS bleeding, the AdBlue airbags, the battery, as in if you want to register a new battery. We've covered all of that in the reviews for the other scanners as well, but effectively, if you've got something like an Audi or a BMW, you often have to register the battery when you put one in. No need to go to the garage anymore. You can do that with this machine. Autofocus for the lights there, auto self-leveling, as it were. Brake pads as well. Sometimes you have to register new brake pads, that kind of stuff. Coolant, DPF, obviously. There's going to be an EGR one. There we go. The gearbox. You can code in new keys. You can code in new injectors. You can actually do something with the mileage. I'm not going to go into that because I don't know what that's all about. And there is the oil, the electric seats, the sunroof, the suspension, and the stop-start. You can reset all of these basically from this menu. If we can just get out of here for a second. And there is the scan. Inside here, you will see a myriad of different car manufacturers, as you would expect to see. Everything from Audi to Ferrari to Zenith, I think, is already on there. There's a huge list. There's a little quick kind of access menu here: American, European, Chinese, etc. So as you can see, it's covered many different manufacturers. We will get into that a little bit more in depth when we get out to the car, because obviously we've got to plug in the OBD little Bluetooth connector. So let's get back out of there for a sec. And then we're back into the user face here. OBD, obviously we're going to get into there, but again, we will go into more detail with this when we get into the car, because obviously we can't do very much because it's not connected to the car. So let's get back out of there for a second. So I think we've gone as far as we can go when it comes to being able to see what we can see on the user interface. As I've said, we're going to have to go out to the car to do a more in-depth kind of review of this and see exactly what the menus show us and what you can do, what you can't do, and then we'll talk about whether this is cost effective, whether you should buy one, how does it compare to the other ones that we've already reviewed. So let's get out to the car and we'll check it out on this brand new Land Rover we've just picked up. Okay guys, so we are in the new car. As you can see, the dash is on and we are going to basically click into the OBD functionality. We've got the little dongle popped in down underneath there, which was no mean feat, let me tell you. We'll have a little look at this car in a minute as well. So it's going to connect up via Bluetooth, as you can see there. It's obviously going to match all the canvases and all that. Oh, blimey, that was quick. I mean, if you've seen any of the other reviews we've done on scanners, that can take probably 30 seconds. That was 5, basically. Not sure why it's saying not applicable for the VIN. The mil status is off. There are no DTCs, which is brilliant. Readiness completed is 3. Supported is 6. Blah blah, and it just gives you a little bit of info, and you will just press OK. Now we should be able to read fault codes here, but I don't think there. Oh, I'm sorry, I was all the way up there. I don't imagine there are going to be any, and I'm hoping Land Rover is in here somewhere. I'm trying to do this one-handed for you guys. Bear with me. There we go, Land Rover, and it's in process. Right, it should pick this car up because it is a relatively modern car. What's it saying? No fault codes. Okay, brilliant. That's all I needed to know. I mean, obviously, if you had a fault code, sorry, I keep moving the camera. If you had a fault code, it would have popped up on there and told you exactly what it was. Then you could go back in here, and as you can see, you can clear your fault codes, etc., etc. That is the basic OBD functionality, which you'll get on even a 10 quid scanner, which is obviously included in here. Now, let's get out of here. Do you want to... Sorry, I keep moving the camera. Yes, we want to get it. Yeah. They always give you a little alarm to tell you to not forget to take the OBD kind of Bluetooth thingy out. So next we will have a look at the reset menu. Now in here it's basically asking me if I want to get the latest update for this kind of stuff here, but this is your servicing menu. Now this car is going to be due for a service in around about 4 months, somewhere around about June, I think, because we're in the end of February now, and it's a basic interim service. It's an oil change. I can do that myself, more than happy to do it, but we will probably, because it's a modern car, get some kind of warning down here to say service overdue, service due in X amount of miles, etc., etc. The beauty of that is we can go straight into the oil. There should be one in here somewhere, bear with me. Where is it? There we are. That's the oil change there. You would go into there. So effectively we pressed the oil reset there. We will go, well, let's just get out of there. The ignition is on. We'll go down to Land Rover again, and there we are. We've got an automatically search, manual select, manually reset the service. That is effectively what you will do to reset your service warning on your dash. Always a beautiful thing, because yeah, I know I've got to take it out. Always a beautiful thing, because obviously if you take your car to a garage, they're going to charge you 100 quid for that. So in the space of 3 years alone, you would have paid for the cost of this scanner just by doing your own oil changes, which take 10 minutes, or just use a local mobile mechanic, and then basically you can reset it doing this. You can also reset your seats, your knock sensor, your mileage. You can have a look at your stop start if you've got a problem there, the sunroof, the suspension, the windows, TPMS, brake discs and pads, lights, what else, air fuel, bleed the brakes, AdBlue, battery. If you want to put a new battery in and you need to get that coded, you can do all that as well, just from the reset functions. So let's have a little look at the scan aspect of things. Now this is obviously the quite comprehensive list of cars down here. We've got everything from Arbath to Maserati to Ferrari to everything you could possibly imagine. Yeah, there's Maserati down there. We are going to try to do a quick scan, as it were, a health scan. Let me just see. There we are, Land Rover. We've got to start the free trial again. We're in the free trial aspect of things yet, because I haven't actually gone upstairs and registered this. I thought I might as well make use of the 10 free trials you get just to test things out, see how much you like the scanner, all that kind of good stuff. I really like that. Automatically search. Okay, manual select. Oh, okay, here we are then. Freelander. Is it going to have Freelander 2? Because we're in a Freelander. We are 2011. We are a diesel. The VIN is being read. And here we go then. What will we find with this little thing? Lots and lots of health report. Let's do a health report. We've not done that. Now, that might take a little bit of time. Actually, it's going pretty bloody quickly. That is quite impressive compared to some of the others. I will cut this here and let it continue, and then we'll cut back in. Okay, well, it's done all its reporting here, and there seems to be quite a lot of things. Driver seat module, instrument cluster. It could be as simple as the battery got low. I mean, there are a lot of different ones. Body control module. So if we clicked into there, it will tell us what the problem is there. Crash input, rain sensor, interior motion sensor, remote sensor, all that kind of good stuff. I reckon if we were to just literally clear all those codes, they would all disappear. So every time it does that, we've got to do that. Let's have a little look. Let's see if we can't basically just get rid of all that. Bear with me, I've got to find Land Rover again. So we're back in. I'm going to try to clear all those little codes in there. Now, there are no engine lights. There's no mill warning light. This is the first time I've ever scanned this car. I literally got it yesterday. Okay, so there are all our errors, diagnostic trouble codes. I mean, it said there were no DTCs, but there are obviously hidden issues. Now, normally when this comes up, it'll be simply because the battery got too low, there was a low voltage warning, and things have kind of just stored codes, shall we say. But as you saw when we did the OBD, there are no real problems. So I am going to try to basically clear the DTCs and see what comes back, what doesn't come back. We're up to 6%, and we should be okay. The body control module is still telling me there's a problem there. We'll have a little look at that in a minute. Okay, so we have done the other one after we cleared everything. It's communicating again, I'm not quite sure. I think the ignition keeps cycling on and off. Okay, driver's seat module and BCM. Now, what is that about? Build end of line mode is active. That's obviously nothing to be concerned about. And fuel pump authorization and crash input. I don't know what that's about. This car hasn't been crashed. It may have had a bump at some point. Maybe the sensor behind the bumper has got some kind of old error in there that he doesn't like. Anyway, we'll get out of there because I'm not concerned about that at all. Yes, okay. And we will get out of here as well with a bit of luck. There we are, back into there. So basically that's the functionality. Now the bi-directional thing is altogether something completely different. So if we go back into the system scan, as it were, we've done the health report, we've seen what happens there. We've also got a system selection. Now, if we go into the system selection, you can manually basically look for any kind of problems. You can check out everything you need to do when it comes to the bi-directional thing. As I said, we've covered what a bi-directional scanner does on the Think Diag 2, I think it was. So check that video out if you really want to know what bi-directional means. Essentially what it means is if you've got a problem, say if that electric window over there wasn't working from this switch or that switch, I could ask this to actually put the window up and down, and then I could basically diagnose whether it's that switch there or whether it's the motor. Because if the window went up and down using this, then obviously you know the motor's fine and it's probably the switch. It's for things like that, basically, your air conditioning, anything electronic in the car that you've got a bit of an issue with, you can use your bi-directional scanner. It's bi-directional, as in it goes one way and comes back. So you send it a command, it then basically reads what you want it to do, it does it and sends you back a report on that. As I said, it's covered in the Think Diag 2. Hopefully you'll see that video and you get an idea of what I'm talking about. But as you can see, we've got quite a comprehensive menu here as well, including the ABS, the airbags, the BCM. I mean, I could go into the BCM because we've got, oops, sorry, the focus there. I could go into the BCM because we've got a bit of a fault there, find out exactly what's going on. I'm not here to do that today because it's a miserable day and I'm getting a bit cold out here. But that is that. If we can just pop back out of there for a second. Vehicle information, special functions. Now, this is where you can do live data as well. You can check out the data reports on steering, exhaust emissions, tyre monitoring, throttle idle speed, security, all that kind of good stuff. And I imagine there's quite a lot in there as well. Let's get back out of there if I can. There we are. So we've done the system selection, we've done the special function, we've done the health report. And that is it. That is the Kingbolen K7 bi-directional scanner. Now, this is not a cheap scanner. We're going to pop back inside the house now and I will tell you the prices, the discounts if there are any, and what I actually think of it. Should you buy it, should you not buy it, the benefits to you, that kind of good stuff. So let's get in out of this rain into my warm house and I will give you my last kind of thoughts and conclusions on this and see what you think. So, what do we think of the Kingbolen K7 compared to something like the launch that we did, or the Top Don 600, or even the ThinkScan Max 2? It's comparable, very, very comparable, just different branding. I do love this rugged feel across here as well. I love the fact it's got an orientation switch, so basically left-handed people and right-handed people can use it. I think that was needed on a couple of the others, so it's nice to see that on here. It does do everything you would expect it to do, and a few other bits as well, because as you saw, a basic OBD2 scan showed up nothing at all. All you would get from a £10 scanner is that. But with this, obviously we went in there, we found a few little things. They're just historic stored codes that were probably created at some point in the past. The car is obviously a 12, 13-year-old car now, even though it's relatively modern technology-wise. So it picks up on that, which is good. And obviously, as I said, you can do your oil resets manually here as well, so you don't have to take it to a garage. More importantly, you don't have to take it to Land Rover to have them reset the oil service light, because that is going to be a minimum of 100 quid. Now, talking of money, how much are these? They are around about 380 quid with the discount right now on Amazon. If that's still relevant when I post this video, I will put that in the description as well, a special discount for you guys. So yeah, sub 400 quid. And you do also get, which a lot of people haven't mentioned, there's a 3-year bi-directional update for this. So basically, you don't have to worry about buying new subscriptions. Now, if you remember the Diag 2, you get 12 months free as a bi-directional on there with free updates for life on the OBD. Now with this, you get 3 years bi-directional updates as well, and obviously lifetime updates for the OBD. So you've got 3 years, which will have paid for this by then, no problem at all. And you also get a 3-year warranty, which is unheard of. 3-year warranty, 3-year bi-directional updates as it were. I just think that's worth the money itself. The couple of things I don't like. Now, I don't like what we were talking about just now when we did the unboxing. I'm not overly impressed by the way it sits in the box. There's just something about that which I think is a bad design, and it almost looks like they had an old box and they just kind of said, well, we'll just pop it in there, that'll do for that. I don't like the fact that you have to keep your dongle, as it were, in the case here. There's a lovely little spot for it, but there's nowhere to put it in the scanner itself. Now, if you remember, I think it was the Think Max 2 we did, that had the dongle, but that fitted inside the scanner itself. So all you had to do was carry this out to the car, pop out the dongle, pop it in your car. Now with this, you've got to make sure you take this with you, or take the whole box, which I don't understand that, if I'm honest. I think that there must have been a place here somewhere to just pop this into. That would have been nicer for me. What else is a negative? To be honest, I think that's probably it negativity-wise. I don't think it sits in the case the way it should do, and I would have liked to have seen the dongle integrate into the scanner. Positives. The price is great for what you get. As I said, 3-year guarantee on the device, 3 years of free bi-directional updates, lifetime updates for the OBD. You get a really nice case. It's incredibly robust. You can add modules to it, like bore scopes and video cameras and all that kind of stuff. It's got a camera. It's got orientation switch, which I really, really like. And it will scan and do every module in your car. And there is nothing that could possibly happen to your car that this scanner won't pick up and tell you what the problem is. So I love that aspect, because obviously if you buy a 100 quid scanner, you get what you buy. The Diag 2 is a great scanner, but as I said, only 12 months worth of free bi-directional upgrades with that. They are 99 quid a year after that. So if you think about it, if you bought the Diag 2, which is an incredible device, but basic in the respect that it's just a little pocket thing that you use with your phone, that was, I think, 100 quid, and you get a 3 years worth of bi-directional. Then every year after that, it's about 99 quid. So if you had that for 3 years, that would cost you 400 quid. If you buy this, sub 400 quid, you get all that free. There's nothing to worry about. There's nothing going to run out on you. And you can obviously update the bi-directional probably for another couple of years after that if you need it. Or you may have sold your car by then and suddenly realise, well, I don't need the bi-directional functionality anymore, but you'll have had it for 3 years for free. So, brilliant. Link is in the description. Would I recommend it? Yeah, I think it's a nice little device. Couple of negatives, we've covered that. Much more in the way of positives than there are negatives, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, give it a thumbs up, a like and a share, all that kind of good stuff. Consider subscribing as well, because we do quite a lot of these kind of reviews, and I hope you enjoyed them. I hope they've been of some help to you, and if they have, as I said, consider subscribing, give the video a thumbs up, a like and a share. We'll catch up in a couple of weeks on whatever we're doing then. Thanks for watching, guys. As I said, I hope it helped, and don't forget to subscribe. All right, thanks again, guys. Take care now.